Now, Luke Acts, taken together, as has been the custom in recent years in New Testament scholarship, has probed this theme of atonement in Luke Acts. This is the Gospel Coalition. It has a special interest in the atonement as the foundation of our salvation. Can you two comment on the themes of atonement that run through Luke, and perhaps even adding in Acts a little, just to whet the appetite of our students?
I just recently did some work in Luke for a kind of a study Bible that's going to be coming out. And one of the things that really struck me, the assignment was in each, just go through Luke and ask, where is the gospel explained and how is it applied? And one of the things that really struck me very refreshingly was how central the theme of forgiveness of sins actually is in, right from that overture that is the first two chapters. The first two chapters are like the overture to a great musical, including songs that are there that really lay out in many ways what's going to happen in the rest of Luke. Forgiveness of sins is right there, and then all the way through, including in some special, unique material, the emphasis on forgiveness of sins is there. And so that is certainly, I can affirm that that's a key idea that would relate to the idea of the atonement. It's not all that atonement means probably, but that's certainly one idea that I can affirm is strong in Luke.
And Tom, you're actually going to do a breakout session beyond this class at TGC on atonement in Luke Acts. Can you add any comments to this?
Generally, it has been argued that Luke doesn't have much of a theology of atonement, because even though he emphasizes forgiveness of sins, does he tie it specifically to the work of Jesus on the cross? And it is often said he doesn't. And I think there's some truth to that. In other words, Luke doesn't emphasize the cross as providing atonement to the same degree that we see clearly in Paul, or I think even in Matthew and Mark. But I think the theme is there. In other words, I think some scholars have overestimated the notion that there's no theology of atonement. You look at the Lord's Supper tradition, it's there. You look at Acts, now we're going to Acts, but Acts 20:28, where it says he purchased the church with his own blood. And then you see some themes in the Passion narrative, that Jesus taking the cup, which I think from the Old Testament means absorbing the wrath of God. The darkness theme, again, symbolizing, I think, God's wrath. So I think we have some indication. So really I'm not going to argue that Luke is Paul. There's a distinctiveness to Luke. Luke has his own emphases. I mean, even in chapters 1 and 2, that great emphasis on the covenant. And I think you can finally tie that into the cross as well. I mean, the covenant is established with Israel through sacrificial blood. So I'm going to argue, look, this theme's been neglected in scholarship, and it is there, but not to the same extent we see in other places in the New Testament.
And this is part of what's so exciting as I hear you two talking about these courses that students can take. We're going to get an eyewitness, up close and personal read on Jesus, afresh from the Gospel of Luke, perhaps an underappreciated gospel, we might say. And we're going to get an exploration, a deep exploration into how the cross and how forgiveness of sins is in this gospel, how we can pull those threads together. In other words, it sounds like the two of you both want to do biblical theology in addition to your intertextual studies. You want to look in and see how these different themes are informed by the rest of the canon. And that's hugely profitable for pastors who are going into the pulpit each week to preach and connect the whole canon together.
Yes.
So in conclusion, we are really excited about these classes that students can take, attendees of Gospel Coalition can take, up to 6 hours of seminary credit to Southern Seminary and transferable to many other institutions. This is an incredible opportunity. It's obvious why, as we've probed in this conversation, the opportunity to study with scholars like you. So we're very excited, and we look forward to a great Gospel Coalition conference.
Thanks, Owen.
Thank you.
Thank you.